Hello, everybody, and welcome to the YouTube channel, The Big Black American Secret. My name is Daniel Jackson, and 3 days ago, NFAC leader Grandmaster Jay was arrested and charged. And I'm going to just read the article to you because when I found out about this the other day, I don't know if I think I found out about it 2 days ago, and I was taken aback by it. You know what I'm saying? It ain't something I wanted to hear. It ain't something that it truly upsets me, and it makes me very angry. But here, I'm gonna read this article, and I'm not gonna get in my feelings about things. I'm gonna try to give it to you straight, no chase, because that's the kind of person I am. Okay, I'm gonna read this article. And this is U.S. Attorney's Western District of Kentucky News, Department of Justice. Okay, it says the NFAC leader Grandmaster Jay charged with assaulting law enforcement officers. Louisville, Kentucky. John F. Johnson, aka Grandmaster Jay, has been charged via criminal complaint with assaulting federal task force officers, announced the U.S. Attorney Russell Coleman. Here in Kentucky, we revere our First and Second Amendment freedoms, not foolishness, which puts police and protesters at grave risk, says U.S. Attorney Russell Coleman. The FBI respects the rights of individuals to peacefully exercise their First Amendment rights, says FBI Louisville Division SAC Robert Brown. Our mission to protect the American people and uphold the Constitution is dual and simultaneous, not contradictory. Accordingly, we are committed to investigating violent behavior and those who are exploiting legitimate peaceful protests and engaging in violations of federal law. Johnson, age 57, of Westchester, Ohio, was arrested at his home on December 3rd, 2020. He appeared before a federal judge in Louisville this afternoon. And that was on the 3rd, that afternoon. According to the criminal complaint, Johnson forcibly assaulted, resisted, opposed, impeded, intimidated, and interfered with federal deputized task force officers while they were engaged in or on account of the performance of official duties when Johnson aimed a rifle at them on September 4th, 2020 in Louisville, Kentucky. Put a pin in that. I want you to remember that because I'm going to address that paragraph. Johnson brandished an AR platform rifle at federally deputized task force officers for the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the U.S. Secret Service, and Louisville Metro Police Department officers. The task force officers were on the roof of the Jefferson County Grand Jury building, keeping watch on the Jefferson Square Park, where there were armed protesters gathering. Upon arriving at the eastern edge of the roof, the officers and task force officers began their surveillance. A short time after initiating surveillance, some of the officers were blinded by a light, which they shortly thereafter determined was a flashlight mounted at the rifle being aimed at them by Johnson. Put a pin in that. I'm going to come back to that as well. According to the complaint, the officers and the task force officers advised they all perceived a threat from Johnson based on him aiming his rifle at them. All officers advised they were concerned Johnson might intentionally or even accidentally discharge a round at them. All officers recognized that the distance between themselves and Johnson was well within the effective range of an AR platform style rifle. Two of the officers advised that they were wearing their LMPD soft body armor with police semi-reflective play card identifying them. The night of September 4th, 2020. None of the officers had drawn their handguns, and only one of the officers had a rifle with him, which he did not point at Johnson or the NFAC members on the armory place. All officers advised that neither Johnson nor the other NFAC members perceived a threat from the officers on the roof because neither Johnson nor the other NFAC members moved to cover when they saw the officers on the roof of the Jefferson County Grand Jury building. Put a pin in that. I'm going to come back to that as well. If convicted at trial, the statutory maximum sentence is 20 years in federal prison. A federal complaint is a written statement of the essential facts of the offense charged and must be made under oath before the U.S. magistrate judge. The charge set forth in a complaint is merely an accusation, and the defendant is presumed innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt in a court of law. The FBI Louisville Division and Louisville Metro Police Departments are investigating this case. This case falls within the purview of the Attorney General's Task Force to Combat Violent Anti-Government Extremism. Launched in June 2020, the task force is dedicated to supporting the investigation and prosecution of any person or group who commits violence in the name of anti-government ideology. Put a pin in that. I'm going to come back to that now. He was arrested December 3rd because there were some police officers and federal officers on the building. It was apparently getting dark, or it was nighttime, on September 4th, 2020. Now, I don't know about you, but if I see some stuff going on in a building above me, I'm going to shine some light on that too. That just common goddamn sense. You understand what I'm saying? I said that to say that these some flimsy ass charges, but that ain't the point. The point is they arrested him to instill fear, not only in him, but to instill fear in you, black man. You, black armed man. You, legally black armed man. You understand what I'm saying? This is no different from what they did on the slave plantations. They would take a big black strong buck that everybody was probably looking up to, demean him, beat him in front of everybody within an inch of his life, and then probably killed him, just to instill enough fear in you so where your children know that they don't need to stand up, especially your men children. And a woman would know that she no longer has protection from the men. This is a very sick tactic used for hundreds of years against our people. And the shit gotta stop. The shit must stop. This is so racist, it's infuriating. This is so racist, it is infuriating. Now let me tell you why. Well, let me go back to this article before I go in on that other stuff. Again, he pointed the light. Those officers say they feared for their life. Now listen to these charges, because they put them all together. It's fucking incredible. Holding, recording, see if I can find it. I don't want to waste too much time on this, but okay, here we go. According to the criminal complaint, Johnson forcibly assaulted by shining a light at somebody, opposed, impeded, intimidated. Yeah, they were scared. A black man with a gun, yeah. And interfered with federal deputized task force. Like I'm saying, this is very flimsy, but that ain't the point. The point is, these are ridiculous charges brought to him, or charged to him, with the hopes of instilling fear, not only in him, but instilling fear in legal gun owners, like black gun owners like you and I. You understand what I'm saying? You know. Now, let's go down to this other section, because I already pointed out that These are some very flimsy charges. Seems to me the man was just wanting to shine some light up to a building and see what was going on. I don't know how you could call that assault in any case. You understand what I'm saying? But again, these things aren't done. They use slick words and trickery. They bend the laws to their will. What they say applies to everyone only applies to you and I. You understand what I'm saying? I used to think when I was younger, if you got enough money, ain't no way you could be spending time in jail. Because if you got a good lawyer, then obviously you should be able to pay your fine, do what you got to do. There's loopholes in the legal system. Money finds loopholes. But when Bill Cosby was arrested and put in jail on his flimsy ass charges and case, oh, that woke my ass up real quick. That woke my ass up real quick because it ain't about money. We're fighting the system of racism and white supremacy. You understand what I'm saying? If they can get away with putting flimsy charges on this man because he stood up. You understand what I'm saying? He stood up. And he's given us an example of what all of us need to do. And the system of racism, white supremacy must respond to this. It must respond to this. You understand? It's as far as the system goes, this is too brazen. This is, oh man, we cannot have black people feeling like this. No, we got to do something. But guess what? We as black people have to do something too. We have to put the attention on this case and show the world how racist this is. And this is how America responds when black people simply want justice and we want to stand up for our rights and protect ourselves. This is no different than George Floyd being murdered on camera in front of everybody when that cop kept his knee in his neck. This is no different. This is a public lynching. And if it could happen to one of us, it could happen to all of us. So I don't want no more cowardice. None. If you don't like this man, if he said something to offend you in the past, that was in the past. He stood up, and he's black first, and therefore you too must stand up. We back this man 100%. This government is as racist as they come. As racist as they come. And the world must see that. This can actually become a blessing for us. Sometimes when your enemy is so comfortable in their wrongdoing, they make mistakes. They slip up. They don't think shit out. You understand what I'm saying? This man followed the law peacefully, created an armed militia, which is a constitutional backed thing to do. And here it is, they come with him with some flimsy charges like this. Now, why do I say this is racist? Other than the fact that it's very fucking racist. Well, I'm going to tell you. Okay, now, the first time there was a public display for the NFAC was on May 12th, 2020, when they went to South Georgia behind the Ahmaud Arbery murder on February 23rd, 2020. On May 12th, they went to South Georgia. It was a show of, it was a formation show of force. You understand what I'm saying? And it was an amazing display. Here's racism, white supremacy's response to seeing an armed black militia. Again, that was May 12th, 2020. In June, May, a month later, Attorney General William P. Barr's creation of the Attorney General's Task Force to combat violent, anti-government extremists. Remember the other fellow who Trump let go of, the little fella looked like Granny from the Hillbilly Bears, a Hillbilly show. He was wanting to target black identity extremists. I don't know if y'all remember that, but black identity extremists. Now listen to this title here. William Barr created his creation of the Attorney General's Task Force to combat violent anti-government extremists. Now, a month after the NFAC show up on the scene, and they've been an organization for a few years, but they never showed up like this before. White people never put their eyes on them before. I'm gonna put it like that. A month later, they create a task force like this. When they didn't create this task force, when those folks was in Charlottesville, these white protesters was running each other over a couple of years ago. When you got white people shooting up mass theaters and shit like that. Oh, no need to create a task force then? Oh, but now a black man stands up. We get some unity going on, and you create a task force. That's some racist shit. That's some racist shit. That ain't justice. In fact, that's injustice. You're doing more of the same shit you've been doing, and that ain't cool. But hey, we're gonna bring this information out to the world. They've got to know what we've been up against our whole existence. You understand what I'm saying? Now, you say, well, Daniel, you know, that's kind of interesting. I mean, this happened a month later, you create this task force. This ain't the first time this done happened, though. Let's take a little journey back in time. On May 2nd, 1967, 30 members of the Black Panther Party protested on the steps of the California State House, armed with handguns and shotguns, and made an announcement. And that announcement was, the time has come for black people to arm themselves. At the time, Ronald Reagan was a senator. Ronald Reagan helped to pass the Mumford Act, a state bill prohibiting the open carry of loaded firearms. And the NRA was in total agreement with Reagan. The NRA, who is so for white people having guns, don't mess with our First Amendment rights or Second Amendment rights or whatever the fuck that is. This Mumford Act was enacted July 29th, 1967. May, June, July. 2 months afterwards. Quick action. Fast. A month after the NFAC showed up in South Georgia, Barr creates this extremist anti-government task force. Fast. Quick. You understand what I'm saying? Cops kill black people. Nobody gets convicted or arrested like they're supposed to. Nothing's happening for that. There's no justice there. You understand what I'm saying? People, you have to understand what you're up against. You are up against a system of racism and white supremacy. And white people automatically are on code when it comes to their survival. Seeing black armed men instantly puts them in a state of fear because they know of all the evil shit they have done to us. And it's a false fear because black people have no intentions on hurting no white people. Period. We have been so conditioned that we will kill each other before we even thinking about touching one hair on a white person's head. So your fear is unfounded. And you need to stop killing us like you're doing. I mean, it's ridiculous. You understand what I'm saying? Now, again, them arresting him, again, is a open display to instill fear in the remainder of us legal gun owners. But guess what? It don't work. We ain't our grandparents. Them times have passed. You take this man down, 1,000 more gonna stand in his place. I hope you understand that. I seriously hope you understand that. We know the laws ain't fair for us. So why would we even be concerned with your laws? Why? You're proving this openly right now that there's obviously two Americas. There's a white America and a black America. The damage you're causing to yourself is unreal. I don't know why you don't see it. I don't know why you don't see it. If you continue to do the things you do, you're going to only cause more and more racial tension in America. And it's not necessary. We don't want it. Nobody needs it. You understand what I'm saying? But this is a system we're dealing with. So here's what Black America is going to do, what we have to do, because it's necessary. We're going to continue to put the focus on this racist system. More of us will buy arms. More of us will become trained at this. And we're going to protect ourselves and our families. Period. Point blank. End of conversation. So stop fucking with us. Can you do that? I hope you can. And if you can't, hey, you do you. And we're going to do us. Okay? Now I'm going to end this video. Like, comment, and share. Hit the bell to be notified of when I go live or create another video. It's as simple as that, Black America. Continue to arm yourselves. Don't allow these situations to put fear in you, because fear is a cancer. It don't belong in you. It's not natural. You understand? And simply stand with this man who has stood up. If he needs something, we'll be there for him. And right now, I think he needs our support. On all of our social media posts, just put, hey, I stand with Jay. And again, it don't matter about your personal feelings about this man. It has no inklings of caring. Because guess what? If they could do this to one of us, they could do it to all of us. That's where your mind need to be. 1B means nothing. You attack the hive, your ass gonna hit, you get stung by all them fucking bees. And that's where we gotta be with this thing. Hive mentality. You fuck with one, you fuck with all. Period. Black first.